How's everybody doing? Hope you're really good. We are talking today about toxic positivity and why that's something to talk about. I have my notes here, so if you see me looking away, you'll know why. First, I would like to shout out to Tina Strawn of Speaking of Racism podcast. She's an amazing person and an amazing communicator. And she posted about toxic positivity last week. And I was like, yeah, yeah. And it dawned on me in the midst of 10 Days of Joy that, if you don't know me and you don't know what I'm about, it would look like, 10 Days of Joy was just like, forget all the crap that's happening in the world. Let's just feel some joy. And I was like, ooh, that made me feel really uncomfortable because I thought, well, I want to make sure that what I'm communicating and how I'm communicating is not that. And I want to make sure that people who are new to me, hello, if you're new to me, my name is Sarah Torino of Whole Woman Wellness, and I am deeply rooted in, reality and what's happening. And so it got me thinking about toxic positivity because I do have people in my life that like to use it toward me and as a way to just be like, oh, don't look at the problem, or I don't want to talk about that, or oh, I don't follow politics, or etc. And so I thought I would just speak it into our our community here because I think it's important to kind of suss out what it is and also what we're trying to accomplish with 10 Days of Joy and get really clear about it. Okay, so first, I wanted to talk about what toxic positivity is. And I spent some time this week really playing with what it looks like and what it feels like for me. And some of the ways I think it's really interesting that shows up specifically in um, yoga spaces or in spirituality spaces are kind of avoidance. Kind of like, oh, I don't post about politics on my page. I don't watch the news. How it might look in pandemic with the pandemic is, and I've seen this and I've heard this, that oh, this is a great time to just get in shape. This is a great time to learn a new language. Like seriously, it's kind of like avoiding the reality and looking at it's putting your blinders on and not seeing that we have a lot of issues and problems in our society and that we are part of the solution. It's things like systemic racism. It's literally like la 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 la. I don't see police brutality. I don't see anything happening, and avoiding talking about it and avoiding posting about it, and that is toxic because it's avoiding what's really happening on a personal level. I think it shows up, um, when you try to talk about something really difficult that's happening with you and it makes the other person uncomfortable and they kind of change the subject or they, um, oh, it'll be okay. Oh, it's all meant to be. That kind of platitude, those platitudes that often get used in the face of pain, in the face of discomfort. So I kind of was like, okay, if I could come up with a definition of what toxic positivity is, this is what I came up with. And you tell me what you think. Toxic positivity is gaslighting. And it is often put forward by someone who is uncomfortable with discomfort. La, 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 look over here, sparkly object, look over here. So that, it's avoidance is how I perceive toxic positivity. And that is not what 10 Days of Joy was designed to be. So, in order for me to tell you about why I'm putting forward 10 Days of Joy, I have to get a little bit personal. So I don't want to go too deep in because I'm not far enough away from it to teach from my scars. It's still a wound for me. But just over a year ago, I lost my brother, and I've had death and loss. And on the heels of it, I lost another family member. It was like wham bam. And during this time, I was creating and launching the whole woman wellness formula, which it was like birthing. I was me on a plate and I was birthing it. And I was taking my business from one place to another. So there's a great deal of upheaval professionally for me from comfort. I was training, I was teaching, classes, and now this is a whole new model. So there's a great deal of upheaval in my professional life, which is usually has been fairly steady. So we had death and loss. I had a lot of change. There was illness with people I care about, serious illness with people I care about. I had a great deal of stress within my own family with teens handling big stuff. I have aging parents. Um, and then the pandemic happened. And then there was isolation. And I know I'm not alone in all of this. I know we all had life and we all had this. I'm just telling you where I'm coming from. And I live in the Twin Cities. And then we had George Floyd. And this in the Twin Cities there's been many cases of police brutality. So the combination of all of these things, when I have been depressed in the past, usually I can kind of point at the thing and be like, oh, that's kind of the thing that started me down this a path of feeling low. But this was a lot of things. And I scraped the bottom. I was in the basement, a very dark, cobwebby, dark basement. And I spent some time there because I believe in feeling your feelings. And I spent some time feeling my feelings and trying to kind of sort it out, right? Like what what is, what's going on? Is it just the one thing or are there lots of things? And how can I process and feel all those things and not la la la, everything's great. La la la, no problem, nothing to see here. No, I'm very much uh, present and I like to feel my feelings. So I spent some time with my feelings. And then after a while, I looked up, and I am someone who cares deeply about the world. And I feel like however I can do my part in supporting the world is what I want to do. And I realized that not only was I feeling this way, that many people were feeling this way in their own ways. And so I spent a lot of time talking about that, live after live, teaching and talking and providing tools about how can we sit in this discomfort? What can we do to support ourselves in these hard, dark feelings that are real, that are totally real? Um, and then I felt really very clearly that both on a micro level, my own soma, my own body, mind, and spirit, and on a macro level, we also needed to counteract all of that. At least in my world, I felt like there was a calling for some hope. There was a calling for uh, shining light in dark corners is the only way that I know how to speak about it in my world. It was like, I'm in the basement. I need some light. So I talked to a lot of people, of my people. And I was like, how do you feel about this? What do you think? And they were like, hell yes, we need this. And so I pulled out 10 Days of Joy as a result of all of that. 10 Days of Joy is a course that I created that was deeply researched. Um, and and that and I wanted to make shining that light in the dark corners. I wanted to make it accessible, and I wanted to make it easy and simple, and that it's not about toxic positivity, but it's about taking the pain of life and the hardship of life when it's sitting on your lap and inviting it to sit next to you, right? Like I need you to sit next to me. I don't want to avoid you. I don't want you to not be here. I just don't want you on me. I just want you here. So it's creating a little bit of space so that you can make a little bit of room for a little bit more lightness, a little bit of flashlighting. So I pulled out the practices and I did them myself. And they're so simple, you know. And that's what came forward was I have to share this again. I have to share this with people so that they can grab their flashlights and shine them in their corners and invite the heaviness of right now to just sit next to us and maybe instead of on us. So that's where it came from. And it is holding both things. It is, yes, this is happening and we are living this. And what can we do to also feel some good, to stay present and to stay current and to stay curious and to stay rooted in my desire to feel all of the stuff that's happening and to make some space for hope and make some space for a little bit of joy and happiness. Thank you for joining me today.